sure I need my cocoa.
You're that smart. You know what? You think we're dumb, but I've been through it all. But you think you know it all. Been there, done that.
You
And you know
I
what?
hate
I'm gonna
arguing
watch
with
that
you.
movie.
Why are you going on EI? Just go to the U of A and tell me I know
hard on
everything.
you. I'm trying to help you. You said
No, you're not.
the whole thing was beginning, and it all started by you saying, Dale, or you have a slim to nil chance of getting EI because just like your mom has a slim to nil chance of getting a house. The fact of the matter is we proved you wrong, and then you want to argue about it. And you say, well, that's not what it's saying. Okay, do we have to
I
get...
said that it told me that I had a similar.
Who's it?
The thing, the sentence.
No, it's
itself
what you
says
read.
risk.
It's what you understood. That's why there's lawyers, because lawyers say, well, you're reading it this way, we're reading it this way, and what does a judge read it? And the judge is going to say, well, you're both right, but you're both wrong, and here's what it is. And that's why judges make up the law. So we're not a judge here, you're not. Phone them tomorrow and find out, and they're going to tell you. That, you're misunderstanding what they're saying.
I'm getting it.
It's easy to misunderstand what the words are saying. That's why people hate the government, because they make it
You're
misleading.
tired from swimming today?
We're just trying to help you out.
Yeah.
You still
It's
qualify.
hard work, isn't it?
He qualifies for EI.
There's this thing in ours. We hate to be wrong, and we like to argue.
It's a
once we're
Boris
wrong.
thing. It's a
It's-
Boris thing, and it's gonna die with all Borises.
That's right.
You just can't stand being wrong.
You know,
He's
that
Mr.
camera at me.
Know-it-all. Remember that.
hey,
There's a reason he's called Mr. Know-it-all.
I thought
Yeah.
that was what I'm called.
No, but you know what? But in all reality, it's true. Everybody is entitled to employment. Everybody. Because you're working, you're
But
paying
it's
into
not-
it. There might be a penalty. But
What do you think, Dale? What's your take on
I don't
this?
have an opinion.
No opinion.
Nope.
Do you think you have chances of getting EI?
Yeah,
Yeah. What's your chances?
same as everyone else.
That's right.
Yeah, of course.
because why? Because you paid into them?
You paid
Because
into
the
them.
risk exists.
Yeah.
Because you paid into them. That's the answer.
Because you paid into it. And there might be a penalty, but you'll get it.
That's right, Dale.
You are going to get it. Guaranteed.
And the only person that won't get it is the person that didn't pay into it.
Penalty could be 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And even if you get fired, you
Honest,
can
I'm
still
telling you the
qualify for it because I was fired through Mullen and I still got it. I had to fight for it, but I still got it.
Yeah.
There is penalties,
There is
There's always going to be penalties.
but you still always get it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you end up getting it. And
Unless you
you
get a
when
job.
you get it late, they give you the
It
back
doesn't
pay.
change what the statement says, though.
Dude,
statement says
it's
there's
like
a
one
risk.
against the rest of our family.
It doesn't matter what this. It doesn't change.
You
the
run
sentence,
into
though.
a risk by arguing.
Yes.
A very big risk.
Yeah,
Everyone.
don't worry about it. You go to the employment office if that's what you want to
'Cause
do.
that is life.
You apply for it regardless. You worked.
All I'm arguing is that it said that there's a risk, and risk means outnumbering your possibilities.
No,
It
it
says
doesn't.
the risk. Okay, here's the question. What is your risk? What does the risk mean? That's the question you need to ask. And the risk is, they're going to say, the risk is that you're going to lose a portion of the time that you're allowed to draw.
Okay.
That's your risk.
Because
It's not
you
saying
just-
we're going to say no.
because
It's
you
not
took
saying
so
we
long
can't
to
say
apply,
maybe.
yeah.
It's not saying we're, but you know what? Here's the deal. You got to learn on your own. I can tell you, when I lived in Grimshaw, I got fired. I had to come here in front of a board, and 3 people sat at the table, and I had to explain to them why I got fired, how I got fired, and why I believe I deserve the benefits. I got my benefits, and the manager of Mall and Chuckin was mad. He was mad because they caught him in 3 or 4 different lies why they fired me. Bottom line is this: just because you get fired doesn't mean you can't get benefits.
Mhm,
And
that's
people tell
true.
you, "Oh, if you get fired, you'll never get benefits." Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can.
What's the circumstances of getting fired?
Just a penalty.
I called my boss, left him a voicemail, saying we can't come to work. The same guy that I'm with leaves the same voicemail. He gets to go back to work the next day, and I'm fired. How does that work out?
And so it's telling
There's the risk. I
It
took a
wants
risk,
you to
and I got
apply
fired.
as early as possible.
That's what it is.
So
You
that's
should
what they
apply.
want you to do. You're backing up paperwork for them if you don't. So now they're trying to say, if you wait too long, there's a risk you're going to lose them weeks because we're going to start you here. We're not going to backdate
Yeah,
you a
we're
month
not gonna
because our
backtrack,
books are
you're gonna
done
lose
last
money.
month.
And plus, they already, when you first sign up and they do approve you, they'll send you cards before they even approve you, but they'll start deducting 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks or whatever it is. I don't remember. But the first 3 benefit weeks, you're not even qualified for. So they won't even give you nothing for the first 3 weeks. So they're going to hold back 3 weeks already. So,
I know that. Yeah.
so if they've held back 3 weeks in January, you'd already be getting checks. But now that you're starting now, they're going to hold back 3 weeks on top of now, which means March before you even see a benefit. And now you're going to be shortening your term. The risk is, you need to ask what the risk is. The risk is you're going to shorten your amount that you can take money out.
Yeah.
48 weeks is the maximum. You're shortening it to 40, then 36, then 30, then 29, and on and on and on.
So next time, whether you're fired or you quit, go in right away, immediately, and apply.
And for you, you got laid off, and Dale got laid off. You guys should have applied right away.
Oh, immediately, next day.
I would have went in and said, "Hey, I got laid off. I'm gonna look for work, but I need to make sure I can pay my bills, and I got money still rolling in. I'm entitled to that. You paid insurance. That's why it's called insurance. On your car, you wreck your car. Who's gonna cover that? You? Your insurance company. That's the risk that they take on you. And you say, well, it's not really a risk. I'm just driving the car. I'm gonna make my payments, but it's still a risk. Somebody took the risk.
Calvin, that's a very good balance on that.
That doesn't mean they didn't give you the car. That doesn't mean that they didn't insure you. You're a risk. You're a high risk, but you're still theirs. So that's all EI, that risk is saying. So what your question should have been was, what's my risk? What, you're going to say no to me? And they would have said, no, it's not that. We're just going to, your weeks are going to, whatever they're going to say to you. I don't know. But I would understand that they can't deny anybody EI
No,
unless you
they're
don't
not
pay
gonna
EI. They can deny you welfare. They can deny you social assistance because that's a free thing.
But EI, no.
But
Everybody
EI,
else
you pay
not.
into it. You are 100% entitled to it just like anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
And if
sure.
you do things that with through no fault of your own, they have to cover your income. They don't want to put you on welfare. And if you went to welfare and said, well, I need money this month, they'd say, well, we want you on EI. We'll get you over there and we'll talk to the people right away. I don't want to give you welfare when you can be qualified for EI. That's it. And then you can earn $200 a week, per week, and and claim it, but they won't deduct it off your check. But if you make $300, then they'll deduct $100 from your check. And on and on and on until you get a full-time job. Did you look for work? Yes.
Or your weeks run out.
Or your weeks run out.
The weeks, right? Yeah, you're allowed so many weeks.
So-
You think a year?
And now if it says, are you going back to school, and you check yes, then they extend your benefits. Then you have to go see a caseworker and it says, okay, they can extend your benefits up to 4 years if you go to school. Jason went to school 4 times, and every time he went back, he would just check off going back to school. Yes. Yes. Were you looking for work? No. They already know he's in school. And they keep extending his benefits. And then he goes to work for 8 months, and then he goes to school for 4. But the risk part isn't meaning that there's like a risk of them saying no. It's that you're going to lose something. What are you losing? Your weeks.
Your weeks, because you didn't apply.
Not
right
your full benefit. They can't change your benefit amount. Just your weeks.
Just the weeks.
So if you're entitled to
That's true.
400, and they have a maximum, I don't know what it is, but if it's $460 a week that you're allowed, you're going to get that. But you're shortening your weeks. But who cares? It's not like it's going to take you 8 months to find a job, but at least you would have covered your income for January and February. March, you find a job, great. But you should have at least had your EI. And then I ask you at the back of it to say, if you worked during the period of support, how much did you earn? $1,600. And then it's a separate question, did you receive any money? No. You might have made $1,600, but you didn't make any money, you're still going to get your check from the government. Until you've got a check in your hand. That's when they cancel it. And then they call you and they say, you're full-time employed? Yeah. You're happy where you're at? Good. Or congratulations, you're off EI.
Yeah, until another time when you need it.
But
Until you need it again. But
that's where we should have just settled it, was that's the risk part is, if that's your concern, then
And
what
that's
is
just
the
the
risk?
way they word it, but no, you are entitled to it, definitely.
So